Hello, welcome once again. And when do we call it old age? What is your definition for old age? Did you hear it's 50, 55, 60, 65 and above, 80 or 90? So when do we actually call it old age? In Ghana, Kofi grew up listening to the elders at family gatherings, their wisdom revered. At 62, I repeat, at 62, he wondered if he was one of those elders that he liked or he enjoyed listening to. Across the ocean in Japan, so the previous one was in Ghana, Kofi, and across the ocean in Japan, Haruko at 68 practiced her morning yoga and smiled at her granddaughter, called her Obachan. I don't know if I'm mentioning this right. Grandmother, meaning grandmother. Meanwhile, in the United States, Susan, who is 70 years old, hesitated when someone referred to her as elderly, while she completed her 10-kilometer run. Let me repeat that. Meanwhile, in the United States, Susan, 70, hesitated when someone referred to her as elderly, while she completed her 10-kilometer run. And in Brazil, Joao, at 58, proudly introduced himself as aposentado, meaning retired, but laughed, saying, "I'm not old yet." Joao at 58 said, although retired, said, "I'm not old yet." Now, considering these scenarios, from different parts of the world with, different ages, it looks like the world seems to have many definitions for what old age really means. But what do science, culture, and personal experiences say? Welcome to the Longevity Caucus. We would be discussing what science says about old age, what culture says about old age, and then what personal experiences also says about old age. Stay tuned. Please make sure you hit the subscription button, turn on notifications, like, comment, subscribe, and then share. Let's dive in. So in this episode, we'll focus mainly on three dimensions: the cultural perspective of old age, the science, and then the personal experiences of old age. So now, part one, let's talk about the cultural context. So across the globe, aging is viewed through different lenses. And one of the most important things that we have to note is that, despite culture being a big factor, life expectancy, which I'll explain later in a different video, also plays a bigger role. And life expectancy literally means that people at different parts of the world age differently or die at certain ages different from others. And it spans, sometimes the average age that people die at some places are like 50 years, and then for others it goes as high as 100. So across the globe, aging is viewed through different lenses. In African cultures, age often signifies wisdom and respect, as seen in Kofi's story. If you skip that part, please make sure you go back to listen to that. And in Japan, Haruko's role as a grandmother and the annual celebration of the elderly, of older people, show how age is revered. Right? So in Japan, they have this day or celebration for older people. And so for Haruko, her initiation as a grandmother, defines something different for her. And then the celebration of the older people day may also mean something different. However, in Western cultures like in the US, numbers like 65 are tied to societal milestones like retirement. Although now it's been increased to 67, I think. So, across these different cultures, from a cultural context, it differs, right? So, but like the story of Kofi from Ghana, where age, signifies wisdom and respect, and in Haruko's, story in Asia, Japan, means that her initiation into being a grandmother, also meant something different, and then the celebration of older people's day meant something different. But then in the US, ages like 65 being, culturally associated or tied with societal milestones, like retirement. Now, the second part is the scientific perspective. So science offers another perspective. So the first one we discussed was the cultural perspective. Now the scientific perspective. Science offers another perspective. Aging isn't about the years, but the biological changes happening inside us. And these are the changes that we cannot see. We feel it, we see people experiencing it, but it happens inside us. So the World Health Organization defines 60 or 65, as you may have seen, as the start of old age for global health discussions. But from a cultural perspective, as I discussed earlier, this could mean something different. But individual differences, mean someone at 60, may feel different from someone at 80, and so this differs or varies from different perspectives. So this is what science has said, and then it differs, right? So that is the second part, that science offers that perspective. And so from a personal perspective, that is the third one that I'll discuss. For Joao, from the story of Joao from Brazil, retirement marked a new chapter for him. But of course, although that was his retirement age, he literally said that he doesn't feel old. But then for Susan, at her being still active and then competing in a 10K run defies traditional labels, because obviously, why would a lot of people say that somebody at 70 running a 10K run, a meter run, being in competition? Because somebody could be that age and then could literally be suffering from so many things that wouldn't be able to compete. And even there are people who do not get to the age 70 in most countries, or the life expectancies are short. But this is somebody who is 70 and then competing in a 10K meter run. So for Joao, retirement marked a new chapter, but he doesn't feel old. For Susan, her active lifestyle defies traditional labels, and yes, of course. And then personal milestones and attitude often determine when someone considers themselves old. So old age, somebody would be 60 and consider, or 55 even, and consider himself as old. Somebody could be 80 and then will literally tell you that they are not old, or they do not feel old. So tell me what you actually think. What would you call old age? Please make sure you leave that in the comment section. And so, is old age a number? Is it a feeling? Or what is it? Or is it just what science says? Share your thoughts in the comment section, and then don't forget to subscribe to the Longevity Caucus to keep helping us keep the channel growing. Please make sure you keep sharing and tell your friends to tell other friends, and that's to subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms to get the best out of aging content, to help you, your caregivers, and then your older people to live a healthier and a longer life. I'll see you in the next episode.